Make some noise, Tucson!
Juicy
Let's
Tuscy!
go! We're at a rock venue. We're bringing rock energy. I'm gonna crowd surf.
Go for it, man.
for
Let's see how that
coming.
goes. Feel like people will be talking about the show a little bit more. Hey, some guy tried to crowd surf.
Dived into concrete directly.
Took it like a champ, though. Thanks for having us, Hotel Congress.
Yeah, thank
love
you guys
it.
so much for coming. Appreciate it. We didn't think anyone was coming, actually.
Shannon, don't tell him!
I was freaking out the whole day.
He had a nightmare last night.
I did.
Absolutely none of this
That we
bothered
were-
me.
that we
Two of you could have shown up, and I would be bringing the exact same energy.
What was your nightmare? That we were performing in a hangar?
Yeah, it was like a huge hangar, and there's all these giant cogs that we had to move. You know how telling someone a dream is never interesting in real life?
Great way to open a show, Dan.
I don't know that it works here
Sorry.
either.
Killing it. Thanks, Shannon, for setting him up for that.
I actually have a story though about small intimate crowds. I do a lot of stand up on the road, and me and my buddies went to Hunker, Pennsylvania. Anybody? Hunker?
Woohoo!
No one's heard of it. It's a small red town. You know, it was a winery show. We go in, huge room, packed. Must have been 200 old people. Everyone's like 55 to 65.
Fucking tight, hot.
I go up, I'm doing my material. This is stand-up bombing. They hate it. I don't know what to do. I'm like, what do I got for these 55-year-olds? You know, I hate the left. Like, what am I supposed to say? So I got nothing. I'm bombing. So then I go, hunker down. And then I realized, like, get her done, hunker down. And so every time I would make a bad joke, or a joke, really, my best material, but bad to them, I would just go, hunker down. They fucking loved it.
Just ate it up.
I said it 17 times, and I counted. The 17th time, then they were like, all right, yeah, that's enough of that.
Exactly.
I think it's pretty
funny.
good.
On the car ride over here, Danny said, I feel like you know the hunker story. And I was just, no.
Well,
I've never
the
heard
kicker
you
to
say
that is
word
the next
before.
night we went to Columbus, Ohio, did a show in front of 6 people. It was 3 couples, and they were all so down. They were like our age, and it was one of the best shows of my life. And tonight's going to be even better.
You're already way ahead of all that.
I know. I think anytime you do a joke and you do a little nailed it or zinger at the end,
Yeah.
it always gets a laugh for some reason.
Yeah? Well,
Yeah.
you
I don't
haven't
know
been to
about
all my
every time.
shows. You haven't seen many of them.
What?
You haven't seen a lot of my shows. I've definitely had some rough ones.
Oh, well, do that every time now.
Yeah, you know.
I don't know if it works every time, Shan.
We'll just relate it to whatever city you're in. Like getting Lucy and Tuscy.
Lucy and Tuscy. We also
Yeah.
like
Is that
Juicy
something-
Tuscy.
Juicy Tuscy, Lucy Tuscy. Is there a phrase? Is there anything? No, I don't think we're getting
Is there a
it.
Tucson slogan? Anybody? Keep Tucson sketchy.
I like
Oh,
that.
I love it.
That sounds a little
Okay,
self-defeating.
you've heard of iced tea. What about mean tea? I like that for Tucson.
Mean tea.
Mean tea.
Mean like tea for
yeah,
Tucson.
The mean
Okay.
tea.
Oh, I thought you meant tea like iced tea.
I did that. Yeah. Well, now we're explaining the joke, so there we are.
Sorry.
No, it's
I
fine.
zoned out for a second.
Well,
Doing
Shannon,
great.
you had a story that you wanted to tell.
Yeah,
isn't
I've
that
got
right?
an AITA.
So for
coming
anyone
in
who's not
hot.
acquainted, I know we have a couple who doesn't know. AITA stands for Am I the Asshole? So we'll be
Yes.
discussing some situations as the show progresses. But this is Shannon's personal
Some
Am I the
stories,
Asshole?
yeah.
Yeah.
And so when we first moved to LA, our group of friends all lived in a house together, and it was 4 of them. And I basically was like the 5th roommate. I was always over there. And because I would usually end up passing out on a couch or something, because, back in those days we were always partying, getting drunk.
Back in the old
Sure,
days of 2012.
Yeah, exactly.
Things were different then.
They were.
Obama was president.
And so I was really hungover. And in the morning, I was brushing my teeth. And I had an electric toothbrush, but not one that's like a huge one. What are those ones? The water picks?
I think you just
Or what
said
are they
it.
called?
I
Yeah.
think it's a water pick.
little
A water
Sonic?
pick.
Well, no, a
No,
water pick
Sonic.
sprays water.
Yeah, the Sonic
Does it?
or
Is that
whatever.
what
Yeah.
they do?
Yeah.
The big
I got
one
no
that you
fucking
buy
clue what those
that
suckers are doing.
recharges. And this was just one that you batteries were in. So I'm not talking like a huge one. It's kind of the size of a toothbrush, okay? I hope that makes this better. So I'm going to the bathroom, I'm on the toilet, and then it falls in the toilet. And this was our
No.
they were boys, so the
So it
toilet
was okay.
disgusting.
No.
the toilet was disgusting.
Yeah, okay, so that
Toilet
makes
was-
this worse.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh God, like I don't want to reach in there and get the toothbrush out. And again, I was really hungover, so it was like I couldn't do anything. Like peeing was a struggle. And so I just wasn't thinking, and I just flushed it down the toilet.
That's honestly the best thing you could have done.
Permanent damage to the house.
And so I didn't think about it for weeks. And then
Oh, no.
weeks later, I was like, oh, yeah, I never told them about that. So I told them about the story, and they were like, that was you? They were like, we've had the plumbers like in and out of here trying to figure out our
my
entire
God.
plumbing system.
Ross
has been, like,
listens to this
fucked up.
podcast.
They know.
Oh, they already know. You did.
Yeah, I told
Okay.
them.
I'm not sure if they're gonna like you dragging that out for clout.
Did they try to
So-
invoice you or anything?
No, actually, and I didn't even offer. I probably should have.
If you did me dirty like that, I'd be at your
Yeah,
doorstep.
no.
But
It would be
don't
on
you
site
think that the
forever.
landlord would have taken care of that or no?
I don't know.
No,
I don't know if that
landlords are
covers-
always so reasonable and easy to deal with.
Yeah, I don't think that covers just like terrorism. You know what I mean? Like just blatant destruction.
Yeah, but so
It does say something about the wherewithal of that toilet. Was that American Standard?
it was
Is that a
American
Toro?
Standard,
That's
yeah.
why it's a standard.
It was. But it's become like a running joke with us. Like they love that story. We always tell it. But
YTA
They love
though.
that story.
That is a YTA.
yeah, they think it's funny. It's like, oh, typical Shannon.
Causing us
She's so
weeks
cute and
of-
charming.
I feel like you like this story and they tolerate
more,
it.
yeah.
It doesn't
I-
seem.
None of them have told me this story in a delightful fashion. It's,
They've told you this story?
No,
Remember
they've
when
just
Shannon
never brought it up.
inconvenienced us for weeks? Oh, that was wonderful, wasn't it?
$700 right down the drain, and then we high five on the drain pun.
Okay, so what do you guys think? NTA, right?
Yeah, no. Let's watch.
AITA for intentionally destroying my friend's plumbing.
Not intentionally. I just wasn't thinking. And even when they said it, I was like, oh, yeah, duh. Like, you can't flush a toothbrush down the toilet.
That is correct, Shan.
Nobody needs to say that.
She was hungover. Give her a break.
She was hungover.
Thank you.
Give her a break.
hungover.
I don't give her any kind of breaks. She's a very chaotic person.
I give
Thank
Shannon a
you.
lot of breaks. I don't know. She is
is.
the most charming one up here. That's
She
for
is.
sure. Look,
She is.
this is how the show works. Danny and I have to carefully monitor anything we say. Shannon can confess to murder, and everybody just claps. So
Yesterday,
it's worked out great so far.
She admitted to stealing her roommate's food for years, and I was like, "Yeah, that's really shitty." People were mad at me.
There were boos. They got.
Yeah, they
I knew to
voted
keep my
insane.
mouth shut. I wasn't going to say anything. I suggested that maybe she would have gotten away with it more if she had cut in a different angle, but I was deemed stupid for even suggesting it. So
No, that would have made it worse, but they don't know the story. We shouldn't get
here
into
we
it.
are. Okay,
Here we are.
everybody.
Let's get
It's
into the
Okay, so
show.
NTA.
AITApod. So we do have a few people who aren't here, so we just do a quick explanation of the acronyms that you're going to hear throughout this show. We're going to examine some situations. Some come from listeners, some come from online, and we break it down by different verdicts. The first one being YTA, meaning you're the asshole and the other person involved is not, or
NTA, not the asshole, and the other person is.
or
ESH, everyone sucks here.
or no ass NAH, no assholes here. So 4 verdicts. Sometimes we put a little curveballs on them. They can get a little complicated. I was doing
should've
so
done
well.
your
You did
voice
great,
warm
Jen.
up.
Yeah, you do those. I'm more of a fly-by-night kind of guy. See how it works out.
See how it works out. I don't know. And then if you guys have any opinions, we have this mic. We're trying something new. Come on up and just let us know what you think. If you have anything to add, if we're missing any points.
And you're going to kill it. I believe in all of you. You're going to crush it. It's
Yeah,
not
use
gonna-
this as your launch pad.
And if it doesn't go well, say hunker down after.
Yeah,
It
exactly.
worked for me. All right, guys, we got one heck of a show for you. Our second story, AITA for being honest about my wife's appearance. But first, AITA because every time my husband says a fact, I Google it. My husband, 33 male, thinks it's rude that I, 34F, don't trust him if he gives me a fact. A lot of times, I'll just say okay and Google it just to double check. My husband is right most of the time. Yesterday, I told him I saw a silverfish, a bug, in our tub. I told him I'm worried we have a leak. He said that it's just a bug that likes humidity, so it wouldn't be too crazy to see a bug in a tub since there could be condensation in the pipes. It's a bug in a tub, babe. What do you want?
I was in a band called that.
Bug in a
once.
tub?
Yeah.
Getting a rug. 2 years ago, we thought we had a leak in the same area. We called a plumber to check, and they did not find a leak. Google did not have a conclusive answer. Also, I've always had anxiety and was dismissed a lot as a child. The trust isn't necessarily against my husband. He's mostly always right, but it's more of an anxiety response. AITA.
I grew up with somebody in my family that absolutely required you to police them with Google at any time.
They would just wantonly
take wild swings at
Yeah.
anything with just like, I'm pretty sure George Washington absolutely was allergic to cranberries and thought everybody else was. And it's like, hey,
Yeah.
Dad, we're at my graduation. Could you
Right.
please sit down?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is it sounds like, if you're the kind of person that elicits a kind of Google security check,
Right.
that's on you. But this, OP's even saying it right here. They're usually in line with their husband's rulings.
Seems like husband's got a good track record. All seems like OP's paranoid. Sounds like they had this exact thing. They called a plumber, and the plumber's like, yeah, there's no problem. Like, we can call a plumber again so he can just tell us there's no problem again? Like, you're just anxious, lady.
Yeah, I usually hate when people do this because I find it rude when they're kind of like, calling you not like intelligent in a way.
Because you got fact checked.
Yeah, you got fact checked.
Do you remember a specific fact check where you got wrecked?
No. Well, I remember one where
Was
I
it the
wrecked
time
them.
you flushed a toothbrush down the toilet and found out you can't do that?
I know.
You fact checked someone.
So a friend of mine was just constantly doing this all the time during anytime anybody would say anything. And this one time he was saying that Elton John sang Piano Man. And I was like, no, Billy Joel sang Piano Man.
There we go, New Jersey.
And he was like that type of guy that just like, gets his phone out immediately. And then you just see him like slowly go like this. Just like
Defeat.
put it away.
Shame.
Because I was
I
like,
thought he was gonna be like, he covered
What did it say? What did it say? Called him out.
Yeah.
I was right.
That is one of the most bizarre things to pick as a hill to die on.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, he didn't even choose his battles. Like, it was every single time he
Yeah.
would fact check you. It was so rude. And I was like, it's okay to do that in front of me because I'm just your friend. But because he was younger and he was, starting to enter into the adult world, I was like, if you're in professional situations, you cannot just do that and
I
pull
love
that
doing that
out.
in professional situations.
How does that
What?
I torpedo my own career. I don't give a shit. Just like I've been in meetings of somebody just saying, I'm pretty sure this to that. Just like, hey, yeah, how you doing? Don't believe in anything we're doing here. You're wrong. I'll show myself the door. Move on to the
No,
next
you don't
one.
do that, do
yeah.
you?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, do people like you at your job?
My customers do. Everybody that I work with, not so much.
Oh my God, Jake, I don't think you should do that.
It's been paying off for me thus far.
Okay.
I think there's a way you could do it discreetly. If you're doubting someone, you can just go to the
Yeah.
bathroom, do a little fact check.
And also, why do you need to be right in that
It's not about being right. It's just, now, to be fair, I work in a field that's rife with a lot of privilege and a lot of entitlement and a lot of minimizing the feelings of others. So when you're in environments where, people get a little bit bold and a little bit quick with just saying bullshit and hoping that it'll fly because they're used to being, the straight white man in the room with the microphone. Hey, look at me.
There we go.
I think there is kind of a not responsibility, but I think it's okay to kind of keep people in line when they're really just banking that nobody's going to check them for bullshitting.
I guess, but the stakes are so low. With Piano Man and Elton John.
In your situation,
well, how do you
yes.
not know Billy Joel's discography? That's like his big song.
Exactly. It's
Where have
number
you
one
been,
hit.
bro? Yeah.
What I'm saying is in a situation where somebody is trying to make decisions for a company based
Yeah.
around their feelings rather than facts, I think it's pretty reasonable.
Yeah, it makes sense. But with this, back to the sitch.
Here we go.
Is that he's proven to not get his information
I mean, I don't
right.
really see what she's doing wrong. Like, I don't care if somebody's fact checking me, that doesn't bother me
Especially
so
if it's
much.
something that's like happening in your home that you want to get rid of the situation.
Yeah, but if you got a question so specific that Google's just like, I don't know. At that point, I think it's just a push, regardless of what the answer is.
Oh, because it didn't have a
Yeah,
conclusive
if Google
answer.
doesn't know, nobody does, right?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I
did
mean-
she even say that her husband was upset about it?
No,
really
I don't
say
think
that he's even upset.
The
Did
stakes here were so low.
Did anything happen?
There is an ambiguous silverfish that exists.
Yeah.
That is the extent. This is a
Silverfish
problem.
is a terrifying bug, though,
It
right?
really is.
None of us know what it does, but we all know it's bad.
Isn't it like
never even
earwigs,
heard of
I
it.
think.
That's why I kind of like the Southwest, because Southwest pest bugs, very clear and present dangers. Scorpions, battle tanks.
you know
with
what you're
venom.
getting,
Yeah, it's brown recluses, black widows. This sounds very Minnesota to me. Low risk.
I just saw a cricket in the bathroom. Did anyone else see that cricket that was in the bathroom? It was
Hell
on its
yeah.
back and just like wiggling its arms. And I was like, do I kill it and put it out of its misery or do I leave it alone?
What are you talking about?
You think it's
Did
dying?
you guys see it? I think you went in after me. There was
Sounds
a
like
cricket
it's
on
just
the ground.
being a cricket. I love that you just brought that up.
I
Did
feel like this
anybody
is the
else
new-
see the cricket in the bathroom?
This
That
is the
just
podcast
the smallest
now.
thing
It was
that's
the
ever
cricket.
happened.
Does Shannon Mercy kill the bug?
I wasn't sure what to do. We should Google it.
There we go. AITA, because every time my husband says a fact, I Google it. I don't really think Opie's harming anyone. I can see how this is obnoxious.
Yes.
I don't
and I
think
think
this is
do
anything.
it out of sight. Don't
Yeah,
show them that
exactly,
you're doing it.
exactly.
Be a little more low key about it, and then it's
Let 'em
not as
see it.
rude.
Let them see
Yeah.
it. Let them know they're dumb.
Well, you got to be able to. I think if you do it and you're wrong, you got to own it. You got to say, I looked it up and you
Yeah.
were right. And then you take ownership. I think that's fine.
That's fair, yeah.
All right.
So
Does
what,
anybody
so what
have
do we
any-
think?
Anybody?
Yeah, has anybody been Google fact checked in a way that pissed you off or any way that was like fair?
Super rude.
Nope.
Everyone here sticks to the facts.
Yeah.
You seem suspicious. No, we're all true. Okay, everyone's a truth teller here. No
So
Shannons
yeah, I
in the
would
audience.
say, well, I don't know.
I'm
I
going
mean,
no assholes here.
Yeah, maybe no assholes.
Sounds like
here.
she's just anxious.
None of us, we confirm no one in this room knows anything about silverfish, so we're all at a
Yeah, yeah.
disadvantage.
And there's a cricket in the restroom. All right, here's Shannon.
Okay. AITA for being honest about my wife's appearance. My wife, a 28F, is 27 weeks pregnant and has quite visible stretch marks on her belly. I understand that they come naturally with pregnancy, but I will admit they are a huge turnoff for me, and I struggle to stay aroused when I see them. The other day, my wife said her stretch marks look cute and asked my opinion. I said cute isn't the word I'd use, but I am glad that she accepts her body. She asked what I meant, and that's when I told her that I don't think that they look good. But I understand this is what happens with pregnancy, and it's fine. She snapped at me and said, well, we don't have to have sex anymore while I'm pregnant then, and slammed the door. I simply gave my honest opinion when my wife asked me, but perhaps I should have told a white lie. AITA.
Perhaps you should have, sir. Perhaps that was the correct thing to do in this
Yup,
situation.
that's what I
Wait, a
would
woman
say.
who's pregnant is sensitive about her appearance? Is that a thing?
That is a thing, that's for sure.
I wish I had the confidence to have this question posited to me from anybody carrying a human child in them and
Yeah.
have anything to say other than you are a goddess and I am lucky to be in your presence, because anything else is a mistake.
I think maybe she is doing something weird by being like, "Oh, aren't they cute? Like, let me find a flaw in myself
Well,
and try to."
that's-
Like, she's kind of overselling
That's
it.
positing.
You know?
That's positing confidence, right? And I think that's
Yeah.
where it's like, look, I don't want to be shot by a paintball, right? So if I walked out into the crowd and said, "Hey, here's a paintball gun,"
Tucson, big paintball town.
big paintball town, the mean T, hand off the paintball gun, and I say, "Hey, I bet you can't shoot me with this, but try." And then if you hit me with that paintball, I probably shouldn't be mad at you for it.
Yeah, I feel like she set herself up here, and I also feel like it's a really hard sell. Like, it'd be like if you had dandruff and you're like, "Look at this, it's snow."
What? That's
Isn't
not
it
true.
pretty?
There's
This is
some
my-
stretch marks.
Let's
that
not
are
compare
cute.
pregnancy to dandruff, Dan.
Well, no, what? Stretch mark? What is
one.
it? People like their stretch marks?
Yeah, I was just telling you. I like the ones I have.
Yeah, but we got tall
You
stretch
like 'em?
marks.
Yes,
We got
I do like them.
grew fast stretch marks.
Yeah.
That's not the same.
I don't think that's
as
what
baby
people are really
stretch
talking
marks.
about when they say stretch marks.
There's still
Tall
stretch
stretches?
marks.
I thought stretches are more like, you gain weight and then you lost the weight. You got
But
stretched.
when you grow, you get stretch marks too.
Right. No, I agree with you that they exist, but I think that's the reason you're proud of yours.
I
'cause they're
just
kind of
tell-
exceptional.
I'm not proud of mine like that. I just like them. I think they look good.
I
And
tell
she
people
probably
mine were
thinks
a
they
tiger
look
attack.
good.
Sounds like pride.
Well,
I
I'm
was
not
trying to-
proud because I grew.
You should be.
It's not about that.
You're very
Yeah.
tall. You look
No,
like Rebecca
that's
on Ted
fine.
Lasso. You should be
But-
proud of that.
It's just a different subject.
Okay.
That's just not why I like them. So she probably is. And actually, that actually goes with the point is maybe she does like them because it's like, this is my child. That I'm proud of my child that made these. Like she probably does
She did
like
specific.
them.
But you didn't, even when you brought up your stretch marks earlier, you weren't trying to like get me to buy in.
What do you mean?
You were just like, I like them. You were like, what do you think, Danny? Like,
I don't give a fuck what you think.
well, imagine you did though. You still wouldn't have.
Ask you?
Yeah. Would you ask?
I don't
Would you
know.
ask your boyfriend Max what he thinks of the stretchies?
I mean, he's told me that he likes them, so I don't
He
know.
said that spontaneously, under no
don't
duress.
remember.
That's a
Yeah,
fair
he didn't
question,
say that.
actually.
If he's told me that he likes
Well,
them,
I'm
yeah,
just
I think
wondering
he
if
does.
he
And maybe I did
unprompted.
ask him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Max
but,
answered the
in-
question correctly.
In other aspects, not just the stretch marks, I've asked him questions like, do you like X, Y, and Z about me?
Okay.
That maybe would be more of an insecurity thing.
See,
and
I've asked my partner if she likes various fashion choices or facial hair choices or just sometimes different decisions that I've made with how I present my body. And I've gotten some firm no's. And I take
Yeah.
that on the chin and just like, okay, cool. If she's being honest.
Yeah.
So I think,
But that's stuff you can change.
well, okay, you got me on that one, didn't you? You
Yeah.
did get me on
Can you
that.
get a stretch mark removed?
No, I think they have a cream, but it doesn't really
Danny,
work.
no.
Somebody Google it. Come on.
No, we're not
There's
Googling
gotta
the
be a way.
podcast.
They can take away a tattoo. They can get rid of a stretchy.
But that's the thing too, is like it is hard to get rid of them, like even after she's done being pregnant. So this was such a botch on his part.
It was a botch. Big time.
I think
Big
there's
whiff.
There's a classic thing that happens. It's the proverbial, do I look fat in this dress? The answer is no. Like, I feel like it was a miss. But I do think it's kind of manipulative to do this. Like, I feel like, can't you just be like, I'm feeling a little bit insecure and vulnerable
Yeah,
about
but
my
what if
stretch
she
marks.
wasn't feeling insecure? Like maybe she really was like, I think these are cute. Like, what do you think?
But this was never a question. That's not a question, right? If
Yeah.
you're genuinely asking a question, you got to be ready for whatever they answer.
And that is where I'm kind of with Danny on this, where if you want bolstering confidence, there's ways to phrase that to your partner. If you want honest feedback, there's other ways to phrase that to your partner. So I think that
I don't think she was asking for honest feedback though. She's literally like teeing him up for saying
you're right about
they look
that.
cute,
You are dead
right?
on. You are dead on. Yes.
Yeah.
She is asking
not
for
like-
confidence.
No,
building here.
because first he gave a very measured response. She's like, yeah, my stretch marks look cute. What do you think? He said, cute isn't the word I'd use, but I'm glad you accept your body, which was a clean answer.
No, it's not. That's
She didn't
just
get
saying
offended at
I
that
don't
point.
like it.
I
She didn't get
heard-
offended at that point. Then she asked, what do you mean? And then OP finally breaking down said, fine, I don't think they look good.
Oh, so you think she should have just been like, oh, cute isn't what I would call them, and just be like, okay, thank you, goodbye, and walk away? You don't think there would be a follow-up question after that?
I think she was looking to start a fight. She was already opening this up by being like, yeah, my stretch marks are cute. Like, that's crazy.
Why is that crazy that her stretch marks are
Because
cute?
you're pretending to ask a question, but you're not.
What do
You're
you
not.
mean?
You're not asking. You're telling that you need validation. You need someone to agree
Yes,
with you.
so validate her.
Because she's pregnant.
Yes, and she's your partner.
But that's manipulative. I don't have to just I don't have to dole out validation for no reason.
Well, you kind of do.
I mean, if they're pregnant.
She's carrying your child.
Yes,
That's a pretty good
I
reason.
said if she's pregnant, I'd be down. But like otherwise, I think that's
You'd
super
be
annoying.
down if she was pregnant?
Yes, if my wife was pregnant, they need some
down to
validation. I'll
compliment
pass
her?
it out. I
That's
validate
what it
parking
takes.
too. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Well,
Well, also the other thing is that I have to say about this is why does he even care that she doesn't want to fuck him for the rest of it? Because he says he can't even stay hard when he looks at them.
Okay, well, that is not
Wait, where'd
not
you get
what was.
that?
It's hard to stay aroused. I think so.
Wait, did he say that?
Yes. So
I wasn't paying
he doesn't want to
attention.
fuck her anyway.
Huge turn off.
Go off.
So, like, I mean, come on. Can't I get a little bit here?
Nah, I don't think you can after that.
No, they're fucking. They're fucking. She sees him get turned off. She then brings this up in a way where it's like she's forcing him.
No, that's
You
not
guys
part
are
of the
writing
story.
the biggest bummer porno of all time at this point.
I don't know if we're getting any ground here. G2KY writes, YTA, if your wife's pregnant body turns you off, you shouldn't have made her pregnant.
Oh.
If you can't handle a pregnant woman and their body, don't have sex. What if I didn't make her pregnant? How about that? Anyway.
Well, and also
Again,
That was a throwaway
biggest
comment.
bummer porno I have ever heard.
Pregnant women do not need your opinion. When she says something about her body, your job is to say, you look beautiful, honey. Especially when she's pregnant, you can't be this oblivious.
Yeah.
I'll give it to him on this note. I'll give it to her on this note. When you're pregnant, you're hormonal.
Exactly.
You gotta be free going with the validation. But I don't think that flies. I think that's really fucking annoying to just be like, oh, I need a compliment right now. If you say I need a compliment right now, that's fine.
That invalidates the need for the compliment, though. Like,
Exactly.
look, when we went into this one, I was pretty sure I was going to go one way. I've been swayed pretty firmly.
All right.
The fact that he's calling out his arousal to this, he should have been listening to his partner and what they needed in that moment. I think this is pretty cut and dry. I got my verdict here.
What is it?
YTA.
That's what I say too. Danny?
I feel like everyone's against me, but I kind of
What
want.
would you say?
Gee, I wonder why.
I mean, I get that if she's hormonal, I guess I could give YTA, but
Yeah, if she's hormonal,
I guess she is. Okay,
She's
because she's pregnant, fine. Then I could
And
meet
also,
you.
I think she has any right to be upset about it anyway.
I think this is a shitty way to be, though. If I was just like, guys, what do you think of my dandruff? Like, and then
Dandruff
get mad?
isn't a baby.
Not the same.
well, the stretch mark isn't a baby.
And to be fair, we do call you Danny
Well, you
Dandruff.
asked-
Hey!
And you ask us what we think of your muscles all the time.
No, I fucking don't. You're such a fucking liar, you gaslighter. All
A
right.
hussy for the
just
mussies.
did in the picture that we took last night.
I didn't ask you. What did you say?
It was
You said,
implied.
you said my muscles look pretty good, don't they?
Yeah, no, we
She got
picked
me
up
there.
on
And he
it.
I
put
didn't
it on
ask
his
you. I
Hinge
asked her.
profile.
I asked her.
It was a group
She
question.
never validates my shit.
I was
AITA,
validating you there.
I was being manipulative.
What if you got
Just
pregnant?
like this
Then
woman.
maybe Shannon will validate you.
I'll try. I'm trying. AITA for being honest about my wife's appearance. I think we agree. It's YTA.
YTA?
YTA. What do you guys think?
Okay, we got some YTA.
They think I'm the asshole as well.
What did you want to say? ESH?
No, I backed off.
Or NT.
Because she's
Oh,
pregnant.
okay.
If she wasn't pregnant, though, then it would be.
Does anyone think ESH?
If she wasn't pregnant.
No.
Okay.
I think Danny convinced anybody who was thinking ESH that it was
I lost.
YTA.
I hope you all.
I don't want to be on that side.
hope you all get a silverfish in your tub. AITA for cutting contact with my friend for wanting to hook up with my daughter.
Don't like their odds.
Uh-oh. We have a personal
My
story.
47F friend, 40F, and her husband are known to be swingers, although they never confirm nor deny. I met this friend Kathy at my old place of work 7 years ago. All my coworkers were like family to me. So even when I stopped working there, I kept close contact with them and we would hang out often. My DIL's baby shower, daughter-in-law's baby shower, 26, was a couple days ago. It took place at my house. So I invited many of my friends, including Kathy and her husband. The baby shower was going great until my daughter, 19, came up to me saying that she thinks Kathy and her husband are hitting on her. She said that Kathy kept talking about my daughter and her boyfriend, Dan, 20, their looks, saying how attractive they were, complimenting their bodies, and asking about their sex life and stretch marks. I threw that in there. That wasn't really there. My daughter said her boyfriend looked visibly uncomfortable. Kathy then offered my daughter and her boyfriend to come to her place with her husband when the party was over. My daughter awkwardly laughed it off. While she was telling me Kathy's husband, Jay, was talking to Dan, the conversation started off about sports, then somehow became about sex.
How about those Yankees? How big's your cock?
Jay asked Dan straight up if him and my daughter wanted to go back to his place and, quote, swap out ladies for a little bit.
That's the grossest way to say it. Sorry,
That's
go
not
ahead.
hot.
Oh my
Has
God.
anybody ever been like, let's swap, like a meat? Dan immediately declined, to which Jay replied, "You're no fun," and kept trying to convince him. Dan walked away.
God.
I didn't want to start drama at the baby shower, so the next morning I confronted Kathy over the phone about what happened. She said, "I don't see what a problem is. They're both adults." That response made me livid, but I was trying with all my might to keep my cool. These were my issues. 1, why would you try to plan a hookup at a baby shower?
That was number 1.
Solid. That is a good
That
question.
is weird, though. He's like, I'm going to the baby shower. Time to get fucked. 2, why would you hook up with your close friend's daughter and her partner? 3, Kathy and her husband have known my daughter since she was 12.
Oh my God.
That's nasty. Kathy refused to apologize and accused me of kink shaming.
Oh my God.
I said some not so nice things on the phone, and I did threaten to beat her ass if she comes close to my
Respect.
daughter or her boyfriend. Again, I told her to never speak to me, and I blocked her number. Some of our mutual friends and I overreacted because, quote, "It's not like she was trying to force your daughter to have sex with her husband," and said they were just asking my daughter and her boyfriend if they were interested, so that makes it okay. I wonder how they would feel if she did that to their children. So, AITA.
I would put $5,000 down right now that this happened in Scottsdale.
That adds up.
yeah.
That adds up.
This has Scottsdale written all over it.
Is there a Tucson equivalent to Scottsdale? Is there a bougie area where everybody hates on them?
I don't think there's.
Oro Valley?
Oro Valley.
Ooh.
That sounds.
Foothills.
Foothills.
Yeah, that
Foothills sounds
douchey.
fancier than Oro Valley. Oro Valley sounds where you buy tainted acid. It's just like, hey, they got it, but it'll make you see the devil. Forget God.
Yeah, it's only bad.
This is just so wrong on so many
Well,
levels.
the first time I read it, and look, let me finish the sentence. When I saw daughter-in-law 26, I was like, okay, gross, but
Yeah.
I could understand a swing happening if you're a gross person. And then you hit that 19, and it's just like,
I know. Your frontal cortex isn't even developed yet.
that makes
Yeah.
it, when you keep that in mind, so bad.
And the fact that he knew her since she was 12.
So disgusting.
That is
You
so
knew her as a
nasty.
child. I just think mainly getting away from the ages for a second, like just straight up, you're a swinger at a party. I think it's already gross just to like openly proposition someone for sex, just like
Yeah.
straight up, right? Like don't be an animal.
You got to get to the third act of a long sales pitch to
Yeah,
get to that
yeah.
point. And I'll bring this up too. I think the line, "You're no fun," I just can't help but picture the Skittles, berries, and cream guy, just like in the fancy outfit, just like, "Wouldst thou like to swing? I'm a delightful lad, I am."
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I do. That's all that matters. But yeah, this just is, it's icky. It's icky, right?
Well,
I
and he's 48.
No, it's the age gap is beyond disgusting. But I was just thinking, like, if this is like if a guy, like guys will do this at a bar or whatever, like like your place or mine kind of energy, and usually it's a do or die moment, right? Because if they're down, they're down. But if they're not, it's like fuck you. Like you
What?
just
Wait, what? Who's saying fuck you?
the girl.
Okay.
Like if you go on Tinder and you say your place or mine, not that I've ever done it, but I've read about it. I'm too much of a coward. I ain't gonna say that to a woman. They're either gonna go, they answer the question, or they're gonna unmatch you. Right? It's aggressive,
Yeah.
theoretically.
And
It
I
is
think
so
that's the
aggressive.
directness. I think that they're honestly trying to create more time for themselves to be gross to somebody else if you reject them, right? Because if you're that upfront and they say no, they can just move on to the next
Yeah,
person
that's
to make
what they
feel
want. They just want
like
to
an
fuck
object.
someone. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you, but where do we
Yeah.
go from there?
Well, what I'm saying is doing that is kind of disrespectful. Like in the rare chance that they're down, then they're down. But if not, they're going to walk away. If it's at a bar, it's like, get the fuck away from me, creep.
Yeah, and in that scenario, most scenarios, they're strangers.
Exactly.
In this case, it's your really good friend who treats you like family's daughter.
It's an adult junior that you knew when they were a child.
Yeah.
So it's really tough to separate the ages. I get what you're saying, where like even taking it out of that, this is just bad sportsmanship, so to speak.
Absolutely. It's douchey.
And then she tries and flips it around on him and says that he's kink shaming her.
This is a bold claim.
I feel like a lot of people are taking therapy, like the Jonah Hill story, right? We're all you're seeing people starting to take therapy jargon and weaponizing it into these ways of just like, no, don't attack me. I'm the delightful monster.
Yes,
That's
exactly. Weaponizing it. Honey.
Like some kinks are going to get shamed, you know? It's going to happen.
Well, I mean, but you gotta,
especially when you're trying to fuck my daughter.
Right. Like, I mean, that's the whole dance of like trying to have sex with someone, right? You want to like feel them out and get a sense of if they want to fuck you. And if you were getting that sense, then you might proposition and say something like, let's go back to my place. But obviously nobody was sending those signals.
Yeah. And it is honestly weird, a baby shower, doing it at the baby shower.
Yeah, that's gross.
Well, when you... okay, I'm just going to say...
Oh, God.
Funerals and baby showers, right? They're really close to the veil. Temperatures are high. You might find a pulse at either one. I'm not saying that you should be going after a 19-year-old, but I'm saying that if you're single and they're single and you're both at a place where you're celebrating the joys of life and the cycle of it.
Yeah, but I'm more like the swinger part of it.
I'm not going to come down on people for hitting on each other at a baby shower.
I honestly feel like a baby shower is better than a
that's
funeral.
fine.
Like, if you're going to do this.
Anybody ever hooked up at a funeral? Highly recommend.
Have
anyway,
you?
moving on.
Fuck no,
I just wanted to see if we could get somebody.
No, but I'm more meaning like the swinger thing. Like, I mean,
Yeah, no, that's a
feel like-
weird
and
energy to bring in.
If it was like not your family friend and they weren't young and you didn't know them since they were a preteen, I would still say it was like maybe a little bit inappropriate, but you know, if the other person was down or if they just politely declined, but they also were like kept asking.
Right.
Yeah, that's anytime you're in a proposition situation, just stop at
You
the
gotta
first
stop
no.
if they said no.
Yeah.
And they were saying no by not signaling this at all, right? Like, it's just too forward. It's all about the knowing. If I was on Tinder and saw someone like I knew was your guys' friend, I wouldn't use my classic your place or mine line. You know what I
That
mean?
is
open
not
source,
what Aaron
right?
said.
That's gross.
But okay.
Aaron was different, okay? It was one time.
So you open with that?
No, I've never said that. I saw it on a
what
meme
do you
once.
open with?
I don't know, some corny shit that they ghost. Some horrible dad joke that's never worked, and I keep doing it.
We
like
need
an
to work
insane
on that.
person.
We'll write you up some opening line
rewrite
my
tomorrow in the
profile.
car.
We put enough fingerprints on his dating profiles already. If it isn't getting
that's
results now.
right. It's nothing we can do.
I don't think does anybody have any defense here? Is anybody here a swinger? Is
Yeah,
anybody
who here's
here
tried to hook up with somebody that they could have known when they were a child? Let's see if anybody wants to jump in on that.
AITA for cutting contact with my friend for wanting to hook up with my daughter. Well, it's not the wanting per se. You're allowed to want if you
Trying
don't go
to.
publicize.
I don't think you
Trying
are.
Oh, yeah.
It sounds to me like the husband is a horny, crazy person.
Oh,
He's
they're
throwing
both
this
unwell.
out.
They need help.
Well, she's defending it. She's in this toxic relationship, and like it's probably
She was all about it.
Was she?
I think so, yeah. They both kept talking to the daughter and saying how attractive they were.
I do want to hear how the talk went from sports to sex.
I know.
That transition.
That
How
is
do you
an
make
interesting,
that?
Balls can always get you there.
balls.
I like those
Have you used that?
Wildcats.
Is that on your
Yeah,
Tinder?
that's my opening.
I see you like basketball.
Balls.
I like footballs. Take out the feet. I don't know.
AITA for cutting contact with my friend for wanting to hook up with my daughter. I think we agree it's not the asshole. And
Yeah.
they are the couple.
Probably one of the easier dingers we've had in a
Slam
while.
dunk.
All right,
All right, wrapping it up.
we're really excited about this one.
Stepping on it like a cricket in the bathroom. Let's go.
Leave him alone.
He's probably still there. Poor guy. Let's all take a field trip after and go visit.
Let's all go to the
Well,
bathroom
take turns
together.
stepping on
That
it.
would be
All right.
awesome. That would be a great proposition line. I'll try that on Hinge.
You want to stomp on a
I
cricket?
know a great cricket in the bathroom. You want to stomp on him? AITA for telling my wife she was so close to getting her dream job.
Don't like your odds.
I'm a 33-year-old man. My wife is 27. My wife has always been very particular about how things get done. She thinks she knows the one true, correct way to do everything. She has admitted to being a control freak. It's bothersome for me, but it's not a deal breaker. I could be doing a household chore, assembling a piece of furniture, taking a picture, or writing a presentation for work in a field where I have a master's degree and she has no formal education. She'll do this thing where she'll condescendingly say, you were so close to getting it right, really drawing out the so close part. I've told her dozens of times to stop because it sounds so condescending. She said it's a compliment. I do the dishes and place them out to dry in an orientation she doesn't approve of. She'll say, you were so close. Next time, put them that way. I take a picture of her. You were so close. Next time, angle the camera this way. I complete a project at work and show her the results. You were
so
close.
Next time, write it this way. Well, recently, she's been going through an intense hiring process. She works in a niche field, and she was ecstatic for the opportunity. She got to the final stage, and the company was considering 2 people. Coincidentally, the other was her college roommate.
Oh.
What? On Friday, she got the call telling her thanks for her application, and they'll keep her record on file. Oh, no. My wife came to me crying. I immediately comforted her, and then accidentally blurted out, you were so close. Her head whipped up, and she asked what I meant. I said she was, so close to getting the job, but just a bit off. She immediately walked out to stay at her friend's house where she's currently sulking. She finally sent me a text this afternoon calling me a huge jerk. AITA.
Now, regardless of how we all feel about this, and I'm sure there's a lot of charged feelings here, a lot of old relationship feelings built into this.
Oh, yeah.
I think we can all agree, solid burn. Solid
It was a great burn. It was a technically perfect burn. It's exactly what you would have said if you wanted to cut someone right to the core.
And therein lies
it was
the
beautiful.
problem.
Like, as a comedian, it's 10 out of 10. I
Do
think
you
that's
want
fair.
to hurt somebody in this moment? And that brings us to the question.
Yeah, she was already crying. I mean, you're kind of kicking her when she's like the most down right now, bro.
My pushback there is the dozens of times they asked for a stop.
Dozens.
Dozens.
When you ask somebody one time, hey, can you stop doing this?
Yeah.
And they do it again, you're like, haha, okay. You ask again, and then they basically tell you, no, you're wrong.
Right.
I'm complimenting you. Yeah. Well, if this was a compliment, when you hit them back with that,
Boom.
they should probably feel, oh,
That's
a compliment.
I was so close.
It's a compliment.
Kind of
You said it
tough
was a
to
compliment.
feel mercy there, but again, this is a little bit higher stakes than taking something home from work
Yes.
or, trying to, and I mean,
It's a
he
big
said
deal.
it, which is clearly a point of irritance for him.
Yeah.
She doesn't have any formal education, so
Yeah.
Right.
I feel like he was probably hoping she got that job too.
Probably.
I know.
I think this
It's
is
such
kind
a bad time to do it though, like when she's crying. But I feel like he was waiting for like the perfect opportunity to hit her back with it, and
Well, he did say he blurted it out. I mean, couldn't this accidentally happen? Apparently, this happened so much in their relationship that it's like in his head dozens of
kind
times.
like that. What's
That's a good
that thing
point.
with the dog and the bell?
Pavlov?
And they like trained it, so every time they heard a bell,
The
they
dog would salivate.
would get a treat.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
Psychology majors, where are we? There we go.
So I don't know if this metaphor works, but it's kind of like it's just an immediate response
Yeah.
kind of thing. Not really,
She's
right?
No,
making,
no, I think you're onto
She
something.
made it the household culture to say so close. Anytime something's not good
yeah.
enough, it's so close.
She
Apparently,
turned her
that's what
house
we
into a
say.
hellish catchphrase, and this is their bazinga.
Yeah,
That-
because like growing up, my mom, she was like so into grammar, and she would, whenever we would say anyways, she would always say anyway. And so anytime I hear anyone say anyways, I like always say like under my breath like anyway, because it's just like an immediate response
Oh,
from me.
wow.
And I try to like say it quiet so I'm not that annoying person that's like correcting
have
the
to do it? You
grammar, or
can't
like
just
in my
not do
head.
it? Okay.
In my head, like I literally, it is just like immediately after.
That's way
It's
more
just like,
annoying than Googling somebody when they're wrong about something, but go on.
well, that's why I don't
Anyways.
say it loud or tell them. But it's kind of like that, I feel,
Right.
maybe. I don't know.
I feel like this is kind of the cousin to pretty good. You ever show someone something, hey, what do you think of this? It's pretty good. That's not a nice thing to say.
I know.
Pretty good is not a compliment.
No,
Pretty's
it's
great.
not.
Good's fine, but pretty good is shitty.
Yeah, pretty good is not that good.
Exactly. It's like it's not quite good enough to be good. That's kind of what you're saying, which is a lot
good.
like what so close is.
A cousin to that, which this was more of like on my Midwestern family side, but hey, look at that. Which is the most non-committal way of saying, I don't know what the fuck's wrong with you. I guess you're proud of that.
So what did you show? Like what?
We don't need to get into what got me sent to therapy, all right?
Well, this is kind of like she got a taste of her own medicine.
Right.
This is sort of what happened with my grandma. So my grandma's catchphrase was, she was a music teacher, and it was one more time. So anytime, with band or the choir, she would always say like one more time, and it was never just one more time. It was always like a dozen more times. But she'd be like, okay, one more time.
One more time to play it again, right? To run
and
through it.
everyone
Horrible.
knew that it wasn't always just one more time. So it became like the little joke in her school. And when she retired, they made her like a music note necklace that said like one more time on it. It was really
Right.
cute. And so then I was shooting something and she was in it. I shot this like pilot with her, and not even purposefully, but I was just like, okay, one more time, like we have to go again. And I kept saying that, but I wasn't even meaning it like.
Well, yeah, it's a normal phrase.
Yeah, one
Daft
normal
Punk said
phrase.
it.
But I would say that, and she would, every time she'd be like, ugh. And it would be like, Grandma, like, this is your thing.
That's
and
your
you're
thing.
finally
You
getting
made
a
this
taste of your
monster.
medicine. Now you see how badly it sucks.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's kind of like this, but.
I feel like if it was just household chores, if it was just doing things wrong that
Right.
need to be done, you could have a lot more understanding of why this was out of line in the moment. But the fact that it also involved things that the OP was doing during their professional hours, it's
Something
pretty
she
brutal.
had no qualifications on as well. Like it is.
Yeah.
I think we agree it's a neg, and she's throwing that out at his work project. I mean, like, yeah, it was close. So
They should have
close.
wrote it this
And-
way when she has no formal education on the matter.
I'm sure there's.
I won't go that far, but
I think there's probably multiple
What,
people.
on the matter?
Oh, on the specific thing. Yeah. No, of course. Yeah. They're like because like validating people is part. I guess we should get into this because like if you're friends with someone, you got to validate them sometimes. Otherwise, it just seems like you don't like them, right? You got to give it to them. Some of you guys are looking at each other, and that's very interesting to me. Here we go.
Oh,
It's because you didn't want to validate your partner.
It's because you didn't want to validate your partner.
Earlier, you were like, why do I have to validate my partner?
Why do I have to validate? You're saying I didn't want to? You're losing me. Your pregnant wife.
The pregnant
Yeah.
wife you have, Danny.
Well, okay, but no, you're right. You sometimes got to read the room. Do they need this validation? Sometimes you got to give it to them.
well, she needed it.
We agreed on the fucking verdict. If we all just agreed the whole time, the show would be 5 minutes long.
There's a moment in every show where I feel like a child in the backseat of a car and mom and dad are arguing in the front.
Yesterday,
Here we are.
Shannon lectured me for 25 minutes that my all-dairy diet is unhealthy.
To be fair, Danny said vegetables aren't important.
They're not. You don't need them. There's nothing in those motherfuckers.
His all dairy diet.
And
Guys,
apples.
Come on.
And apples.
apples. Like he needs a vegetable. right?
Pontificating
It
at
explains
me.
your bathroom.
Who does that?
Biggest laugh of the night.
That's
You should
fair.
block that.
I think that I think she's being abusive. I think she's insecure. And everything, she feels a need to put him down every single time about every single thing.
Yeah.
Like, that's her whole energy.
I
Well-
would understand if it was things around the house that had to do more with you, both of you together. It's your space. But yeah, the fact that she's just seems to be doing it about everything in his life.
Has anybody, and I'm sure there have because it is a common thing, has anybody been on the side of a relationship where the other person is not contributing financially or to any kind of security, upkeep, that kind of thing?
I've been that person.
You have been that person.
Wait, they don't contribute.
Your partner is not contributing in any way
in
to the
any
financial
way.
security of the household. And we
Even-
don't, to be fair, that's a read here, but she's looking for work.
Yeah.
She seems to not have
There's
a
an
lot
imbalance.
going on.
There's an imbalance.
I'm reading
I think
between
that's
the
fair.
lines
Yeah.
there. That makes it really hard to be fair. It makes it really hard to be patient, and I can kind of understand reaches and whiffs when you're the only person contributing to the financial stability of the household when a double income would be helpful.
Because you're saying because he's frustrated with her on some
Yeah.
level, and that's why this came out.
I think that's why. I
Yeah.
don't think that this is the only thing
Well,
causing
she's-
him frustration.
She's being shitty to him, and so I think he's like, well, fuck you, on some level, right?
And
Like
he finally
probably
saw a moment
Yeah.
to do it. And I think it was the wrong moment. but like he finally seized the moment.
He seized it.
Yeah.
He got her good.
It was like every time I burp and you call me disgusting. Today he burped
God.
and I was
Oh my
like,
God.
that's so disgusting. And he's like, okay, drama. I'm like, you always do it to me.
Yeah.
I seized the moment, folks.
You got me good.
I did.
Next
so
live
tired
show,
of you.
you two should just fight.
Yeah, we're gonna fight.
Wrestle.
We're gonna
Do
fist
whatever.
fight. It's gonna be
UFC.
great.
I don't care. Sword fight. End it. Squash the beef.
And
I don't think though OP meant to do this. I think he blurted it out. That's what he said. I think that she's created a microculture in this household of saying so close. And that's why I'm fighting for AITA for telling my wife she was so close to getting her dream job. I'm actually ready to say not the asshole, and she is.
I don't know. This was such a bad time for him to do it, though.
But he
She's
didn't intend to do it.
crying.
He didn't intend to do it. She's been saying this after. Does somebody have an opinion?
She's not the asshole in this situation.
She's not the asshole in this situation.
Oh.
I think she created this situation. She created this environment, and the roosters came home to roost. That's definitely not the phrase.
But it also seems like she's not really
Ow.
even going to be able to learn her lesson because now remember that thing I always say about the victim being the victim? Now she's the victim.
You don't think that
because he
it's gonna click in?
did it worse than she ever
He
did
did
it
fight
to
fire
him.
with gasoline.
Yeah.
That is what happened here.
You don't think this moment might be the time where she finally realized that so close is a shitty thing to say?
Well,
I mean, I
she
would
stormed off
hope
to her
so.
sister's place and called him a big jerk, so I don't think that's what's happening.
Well, she might come to her senses.
I think maybe if they have they need to have a very sit down, serious talk after this and be like, look, I'm really sorry that I did that back to you in a moment where you were really vulnerable and you really wanted this job. But I have asked you dozens of times now, please don't do that and be so condescending. I don't
Dozens.
understand why
Dozens.
it's important to you that like I'm writing my whatever dissertation this way.
Well, and there is the last thing that I really have on this is I think it's very telling that she had been swearing up and down that she meant nothing by it, and
Yeah.
it clearly was an insult to her
It's an
because
insult.
she
Because
heard
that's how
it
she's-
and she took it as an insult.
And
So
maybe though is now that she did hear it back, maybe she's like, oh,
That's
that
my
is a
hope.
fucking insult.
That's my prayer.
I agree. I agree with our listener that she is not the asshole in this situation.
I think she created
vacuum
this
chamber-
situation. I'm not backing off, and I don't want to be
I
here
don't know.
another hour.
Okay, so round of applause.
come
Who
on.
thinks NTA and she is?
Hell yeah. Hell yes.
We got three.
I'll
round of
take my two
applause
people.
if you think everyone sucks here.
Everyone's the asshole.
Oh, we still got three. All right, some people are not voted.
And does
Okay.
anyone think
so?
just-
Anyone? Yeah, YTA that he
Just he is the
fully the
asshole.
asshole.
Oh, okay, all right. I'm cool with that.
Okay, so what is it? ESH.
Oh,
No, I'm
well,
sticking to my guns. but I think
ESH.
Oh no.
Jake, settle us. AITA for
God.
telling my wife she was so close to getting her dream job. Jake,
I don't know.
tiebreaker.
Maybe soft ESH, where she's a little more than him. But in this exact situation, oh god.
I'm going NTA.
NTA, it is.
Yeah.
NCA.
According to three idiots and the people who came to watch him. Thank you for that.
Guys, thank you so much for coming. That's the show, and have a wonderful
Yeah,
night. We'll be
thank you
hanging
guys
out.
for coming.
We're hanging out.
Yeah, we'll be over at the bar if you guys want to hang, and we really appreciate it. Woo woo! Bye.
Hey, that's what we do at the end of episodes. We try to harmonize and fail at it every time.